We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS.
ADR Networks presenta Las opiniones expresadas en este programa son responsabilidad exclusiva de quienes las emiten y no representan necesariamente el pensamiento o alguna posición oficial de este medio de comunicación. ADR Networks presenta.
This is Celestine Angel.
And I'm Isaac Crouch.
And this is...
Foreign Show!
On the foreign show.
That Foreign Show. Yes, y'all, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to That Foreign Show. My name is Isaac Rakesh.
I'm Celestine Angel, and our
we are out of
camera
focus.
is very blur, so just give us a second.
All right, let's see
How
what's
did
going on
that
with this.
happen? I think.
All right, give us a sec. All right, why don't you talk to the people while I do this?
Okay, so today we would like to share with you on that insider that we have a release coming up. It's our debut production single, so we're very excited. It's called I Am the Money. It's all about self-worth. And to help us boost
Yes.
our numbers by pre-saving.
Pre-saving the link, right?
Yeah.
So you pre-save the link, and what happens is we get pushed to more playlists, so more people can actually hear this track, which is what we want. We want as many people to hear this track as possible because
Yes.
we're real excited.
This is
and-
for Spotify users, but
Yeah.
if you don't use Spotify, you can send your email like you see there, and we will also give you other links if possible, or whatever that we can arrange.
Yes, like for the
Okay.
other apps, iTunes and all that stuff. So then, are we in focus? And can you hear us good? Like, can you hear me, nice and clear? Yes,
We
y'all.
have Eloise with us,
Yes, y'all.
and you can, Dinah, you can. Oh,
Wow, she's all right. I like that image. It's maybe get her to explain what that is. Hello, Eloise. We hear you.
Okay.
And now we see you as well.
Heard this
welcome,
voice.
welcome.
I'm
you're
totally
looking
new
really.
to this platform. Okay. This is
Yeah,
cool.
this.
Can you hear us fine?
Yeah, I hear you. Can you hear me?
Perfect.
I don't have
Yes.
headphones, but I can hear.
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah,
Hi,
you're
hola.
looking very comfy.
I am. I think it's a good spot. Yeah.
Well, welcome to the show. This is That Foreign Show, and on this show we talk to interesting people about interesting things. I mean, at least that's what we try to do. That we hope they're interesting things. We're pretty sure. In fact, we're very sure they're interesting people like yourself.
Like you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Likewise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Thank
let's
you.
break it down.
So yeah, Eloise, like today we are going to talk about like all like arty stuff because this is going to be a conversation about you traveling the world and seeing how that influenced your creative angles.
Yeah.
Like so.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, let's start at that. Like, can you tell us a bit about how you got your background and what led you to become a graphic designer, or what led you into that space?
Yeah. Wait, first of all, sorry, apologies. I am in Mexico, so there's going to be some street noise. I hope it's
That's
not
cool.
too loud. But yeah, no, I'm American. That's where I'm originally from, Seattle. But I live in Mexico, and I was living in Berlin before this, and San Francisco before that, and some other places in between, just for the travels and experience. So yeah, I guess I definitely am not someone that could stay where I'm from very easily, but that has led to a lot of interesting experiences that have definitely influenced my path and creative
When were you
work.
in Berlin? What period was that?
From 2012 to 2022, so 10 years. Did not plan that, but that's what happened.
Oh wow. Okay.
But that was, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
No regrets.
Berlin is definitely a very interesting place to talk about because, like, we have heard about how interesting.
Yeah.
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 the art
Have you
scene
been?
is.
No, we
No, but
haven't.
Not
It's
yet.
definitely on
people
our
kept
list.
telling
Yeah.
us about it. So yeah, could you share
Yeah.
a bit like what is it like over there?
Yeah, I definitely moved there.
Oh, we lost you.
Uh, yeah,
I don't hear you. And
you don't hear me?
okay,
No?
now you're back. Now you're back.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I moved there originally for a lot of reasons, but one of the main attractions was the music culture for me at the time. And as you guys are musicians, so I would recommend definitely going there at some point. But the music culture is very special in Berlin. It's different from other parts of the world. It's not something you can find easily in other parts of the world. It's definitely more focused on electronic music, which I
Mm-hmm.
was very involved in and interested in when I was in the States already. So when
Okay.
I traveled for the first time, I made like a couple trips before I actually moved there, but both of those trips were very influential, just experiencing how people experience music there and put on music and shows and events there, and a lot of that. So that was my main draw to Berlin in the first place. And I work in music, so for me it was like, well, I should be in the place where my work is happening. My people, I feel connected to the people there, the culture there. There's other things I did not connect with though, because not everything in Berlin is just music. So there's like
Right.
there's
Right.
a mix of things that
Right.
happen. Yeah, but
Right.
that was
Definitely, we would like to get into that as well. Like what you didn't
yeah,
like.
Yeah. Yeah. For
yeah,
sure. But
yeah. There's
maybe
Yeah.
for the
reasons I
people.
left.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, in 10 years, a lot of things happened. So there's definitely reasons I eventually left, but I had
Right.
amazing times there as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, but before we like get into all of the Berlin experience, like I would
Yeah.
actually like to understand about your job. So basically, you're okay. So you're a music a graphic designer, right? So,
Yeah.
like most of your clients, like you work with them remotely, or like do you actually travel to Berlin and then you also get like new clients from
New
there?
clients.
Or
Yeah.
yeah.
So before I was in Berlin, I already had some music clients in San Francisco, which I still work with. Dark Entries is the main record label I'm still with. But
Dark entries. Okay.
Okay.
yeah, so
So you
they're
work with record labels, okay?
yeah. So my clients would be like the heads of the record labels for the most part, but then there can be. So I have some steady clients that are labels, but then I also work with random musicians or one-off projects with a band, or sometimes it's an event. So it would just be like a poster for an event. So it's in between that, there's like here and there the single clients, but it's all connected. It's definitely a network in what happens in music and the arts, as you know. Like once you meet certain people, they tell other friends, and yeah, you sort of build a and I've been very lucky with that. Yeah, I've just met amazing people like since I've been
Right.
a designer. So that's just been my own. I'm thankful for that. Yeah, that's very
I
positive
mean,
for
it's
me.
so great that your job allows you to just move around anywhere you want to
Yeah,
be.
the
Yeah.
remoteness. I definitely need that. I think maybe you do too. Just like I did do like office life in the US in my 20s up to a certain point, and I had my dream job actually. I was working in book publishing, so my
Wow.
background is
Okay.
in print media. I was designing like art books and children's books. It's like very nice place to be, but
Wow.
exhausting. Like the publishing
Really
industry
interesting.
wore
You
me
you
out.
you illustrate all these like children books and all that, and then you also mentioned Zines,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah, and like, and so do you also do the write-ups for it, or you just do the illustrations?
No, I was the designer, so would hire illustrators or like work with illustrators,
Oh,
and
right.
then
Okay. Okay.
together. So yeah, I don't. My background's in design. Although I do some illustration, but not at the pro level of like a person dedicated to illustration. So yeah, I would work
Eloise,
that and
I
then
feel like
bring it together.
this it's a very I mean designing logos, right, and things like
Yeah,
that, or design just in general, right? It's a
yeah,
very
broad.
almost like you got to be like really plugged in, right? Really connected to. I mean, for example, what your
Yes,
clients want or who your clients
exactly.
are. Yeah.
That's exactly right. No, that's a huge part of why I think not just me, but people in design and the arts. So being plugged into culture, and I've always been someone that's just interested in culture, but not just like a mainstream culture. Like I like subcultures. I've always been part of a subculture since like my teens. That's always just been in my life, like an underground, alternative way of experiencing or making things or looking at things. Like,
Yes, yes, yes.
and that happens to the art, like not just music, but art, like everything.
Yeah,
So that's a huge
Yeah.
part of why, yeah, it all comes together
yeah.
in design and making it.
Oh, because
Yeah.
like when we first began, we also just went straight for the underground stuff.
Yeah.
Like we
Yeah.
like to study those things and like express in that area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We weren't so interested in like commercial stuff or pop music and all that. And then like right now we are finally connecting that as well, like a full circle kind
Yeah.
of now interested to reach the entire world. So like yeah,
Yeah.
we are very interested in your perspective on the
Yeah, like for
underground
us, I
scene.
mean, for us, like we found that we needed to step out of that space after a while, you know, like
Yeah.
and to kind of in a way, it was also a kind of a spiritual exercise, you know, in like in a sense of like kind of transcending the ego, you know, not
Exactly.
to
Yeah.
not to,
There's
yeah, you
that
know,
element too,
Yeah.
yeah,
especially in performance, like anyone in music, if you're on the stage. I'm definitely a person that prefers behind the scenes, but for some people that are presenting their
Working
work
in front.
in for an audience live, like it's a very, I mean, it's a lot to deal with, and so many people get lost actually in that. Unfortunately, there's a dark side of that too. So I have a strange position where I see it because I'm involved with it on a different side of how it all comes together. But as a designer, but I'm not like the person getting hit with the most challenging stuff of being like your reputation and the ego and the when it doesn't go well if you're doing a live performance or trying to like compare yourself all the time to it's crazy. There's a lot of issues to manage with that for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, let me ask you this: like, the reason you decided to be sort of more backstage, is it
Yeah.
sense that's where the real power is actually?
There's a lot happening back in behind the scenes with these any production, and I've always been interested in that. Yeah, as a designer, that's our position. Like people don't realize how much we manipulate in your world. Like literally everything you're wearing, everything
Right,
you're holding, the sign behind you. It's a designer was involved, and I've always liked that
like.
aspect. Like
We're gonna need your opinion on our logos and stuff. Like this one, I don't know.
yeah.
We can really see it. It's
Yeah, no, you
designed
can
by
see the
Yeah,
Carrie.
no,
graphic.
I
Yeah.
like it. I always love hand calligraphy or handmade. Yeah, I've noticed it definitely.
Wow,
Yeah.
you know what? Just like off the bat, I'm pretty sure 1 hour is not gonna be enough for this show. Yeah, you know.
Yeah,
So much
And
to discuss.
so much to
there is a
discuss.
lot.
Let me ask you this: like this, we've always been hearing about Berlin, you know, like about Berlin being the
Yeah,
place to be artistically and stuff. Do you think a lot of it's got to do with with the wall and with the whole thing and you know like
there's a huge part of that. Yeah, people don't realize. Okay, so it depends how much you've learned of the history. Some kids just go there and party, and they don't realize like the context of what the cost was to get to how it is now. That resulted from when the wall came down in the late 80s. It was like a revolutionary time for culture there, kind of both the east and the west side. So the east side was more suppressed and oppressed by the Soviet Union,
yeah.
and the West was more linked with the capitalism in America, but it's still there was issues there too. But then the wall came down, so the people really directly affected by that were almost kind of like, I don't give a shit anymore.
Yeah,
This whole
yeah.
time since post World War has been crazy for everybody, and finally feeling like we need to connect. We just want to just live in the moment, and that from that kind of spirit came these incredible like well it's called squatting, but at the time there were so many empty buildings that hadn't been used, so people would just
Oh
take
wow.
over a building, put on
Oh
raves, express themselves to the max, like in every way you can think of.
wow.
Music
Yeah,
of course
it's great.
developed with that, and there was a very special energy there, but it came from, yes, a very dark period in human history. So there's a weird something about like the most darkest parts of the human experience. Something has to happen, I think, to experience that, and then something about that
Transcend.
creates like some of
Trans.
the most right greatest
Yeah.
post, I don't know, healing. It was very much about
Yeah,
healing, I
yeah,
think.
Yeah.
yeah,
And
Yeah.
it still has that spirit, but it hasn't been as like direct as it was in that time when the wall literally came down and
yeah.
people were
Right.
just like, we need to
I
like,
mean,
yeah,
yeah, it's
again.
definitely like I mean, even though that like not to invalidate like the darkness that
The things
and
that
all
actually
that
happen.
the things that actually happen, but like it's very like beautiful to see the movements of like human evolution, you know, like when
Yeah,
this
yeah,
contrasts with that, and then that's how like we grow and stuff like that. Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
that
it's exactly
Yeah.
the
Even
contrast.
to a
That's
simple
what,
thing.
yeah. And it's
yeah.
real.
And
I
I mean, like
felt it. I
even in
came to the
In America,
room. Yeah, yeah. In all
yeah,
parts of the world, like where
so I mean,
there's been a horrible, yeah, thing happening. There's great
yeah.
art
Yeah.
on the other side of it.
Yeah.
And I mean, you lived there a whole 10 years, so definitely you liked it enough. It gave you
Yeah,
something for you to want to stay for so long, right?
Yeah,
yeah,
actually, 10 years is something that we kind of, we have a friend, shout out to Osama, right? And he's done like 10 years in the US, 10 years in UK, and then 10 years in Africa, right? So,
wow,
yeah,
yeah.
we kind
About a
of,
decade,
I think
every
10 years
place
is a
is
good,
different.
yeah,
Yeah,
good amount of time to,
To really feel like that
exactly.
you can get the whole
Experience.
experience. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. I think that's what happens when you come to a place you connect with. I
mm,
didn't plan this at all. Like you just end up staying there because there's like, oh, there's still more things I want to see and do. It just builds, like you start also to build a life there. So you have kind of your own like investments or systemic things that you just become part of it, and you don't want to give up your visas and all these things that you gain in that time. So it's like you just end up kind of staying there. But yeah, I definitely had a point where I was like, okay, I don't think I want to be here the rest of my life
right,
either.
right.
Yeah.
So where is home for you? Like, or are you still, you know,
That's a
in
hard
search mode?
question. Yeah, I think you guys probably have maybe, I don't know, it's not so clear for me to answer that because I don't feel like my home, like where I'm from is Seattle always. Like that's where my formative years were. So I guess I can say that's one of my homes that I started in, but is it like a place where I feel like I'm really living my daily life? No, like definitely not. Like I feel right now Mexico is my home. Definitely. I feel like I'm still, growing here and learning things. But at the moment, like I want to come back here if I go somewhere else. Like that's where I want to come back to Mexico because I'm not done here. I have like things I want
Yeah,
to
yeah.
keep experiencing here. So is
And
that what home is? Like maybe that's what.
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah, I
think
would think
that's a
so.
good definition of
Yeah,
home. Like you feel at home here and you feel like this
Yeah,
is where you want to come back to. So
yeah.
yeah, and like how long have you been in Mexico already?
I've about a year and a half, so
Okay.
pretty fresh still, but
Yeah.
definitely getting deeper.
And I mean, do you have plans like how like is it a 10-year plan? You
I
want to
did not
stay here?
plan exactly. I did not plan on that. I don't feel done with Mexico at all, so I don't think it's not out of the picture to be here a decade. Like there's so much. I feel quite overwhelmed actually in this country. Like there's just in the city already there's so much. The country of Mexico is like
yeah,
another level, and so I feel like
Yeah.
definitely years, not months. I mean
Yeah,
years.
yeah. Yeah, Mexico's stimulating and I know what you
It's
mean there.
really,
Yeah.
yeah. And I like
Yeah.
it. Like I'm definitely not ready to leave
So,
if that makes sense.
what do you feel as an artist, like about what Dali said that Mexico's surreal?
Yeah, it has a different vibe here, definitely, especially from Europe or where other places I've been. Like Mexico feels very specific on its own energy or wavelength or whatever you want to call it. To me, I sense like something very special here, like that's distinct from other places in the world. So, as from again from what I've experienced, not I haven't been everywhere yet, but so far. And
Right.
so I guess maybe the surrealism is that also it's very specific, like mix of energies that I can't compare easily to like other places. Like it has like a tropical feeling sometimes, but then it has this very deep, ancient kind of
Yeah.
element that's still visible. It's not been erased completely. Like I feel like there's more of that here. It's just
Yeah.
like complex.
It's
And
complex, yeah, and
yeah,
that ancient stuff is kind of mixed with like dudes selling tacos on the corner,
yeah,
you know, right?
yeah, with
Like,
modernity and contemporary stuff. Yeah, but it's
yeah,
still like
it's really,
I'm actually having quite a lot of trouble hearing Eloise.
okay.
yeah, it's a bit.
Like it's
Your
all
audio
like
is a bit bouncy.
feedbacking. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
you don't
Um,
have earphones,
I
right?
have like my other ones. I should have charged it. I have some other, but I can try
Okay,
this.
you can try that.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Because I think that
Um,
the audience might not be able to hear you as well.
does this sound any better?
S-
Yes, right now
Yes, it's
there's
better.
no feedback.
It's
Yeah,
better. Okay.
yeah,
Yes.
better.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, like
Did,
I think
wait.
yeah.
Can you say something again?
Okay. How about that?
I actually.
Oh, good. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
The studio says it
Diana said.
sounds much better,
Good.
right?
Okay.
Okay,
Got
very
it.
good. Okay.
Head back up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think like we definitely would like to know how you feel like that like growing up in the US influenced your artistic style.
Yes, and also like what even led you to get into design? You know, like was it like logos or was it like just colors or yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
A good question. Yeah, no, I did grow up in Seattle, and I would say quite early I was interested in things related to design, but I didn't realize that at the time. So I remember, and I was a 90s kid, like 80s, 90s kid. So yeah, yeah, you remember, like we didn't have, well, we had some computer stuff, but it
Yeah.
wasn't as much as today.
There was
I
one
w-
dude who was really, you know, like if you want computer stuff, you go to that dude, you know, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
right,
yeah.
right. That had everything. I mean, yeah, no, it was a different era, but I was very much into like I remember writing letters, like pen pals, and decorating stationery and letters and a sticker collection. I
Wow,
had a
yeah, yeah.
pen pal in India, like the country of India, and that was like a few years. We exchanged amazing like packages of these handwritten letters with drawings, and I
Wow.
was just into mail art. Yeah, like all
Wow.
as a
Okay.
kid. I was like a nerd, but like it was cool. It is cool. I still think it's cool.
It's very funny, like
Anyways.
the pen pal thing. Like then they will
Yeah,
send you like a small photo of themselves.
Oh
yeah,
wow.
no, totally. Yeah, it was special, and like it also was using a lot of design, like typography, hand drawing, illustration. You just don't realize it, but
That's
those are
true.
things that later, when I started to take art classes, it was like, okay, I actually kind of do this stuff already for fun, and
Right.
I was
And
part of the yeah.
you are part Chinese. Like, are you half Chinese?
Yeah, I'm half Chinese. Yeah, my mother is from Macau, China, and my dad's from Colorado, the U.S.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah,
you grew up in like a community that like included Chinese people, or like was it
I.
mostly?
It wasn't like we were going to a community center, but I definitely grew up with a very diverse group of friends and people around me. So, like in the Pacific Northwest, like Seattle, for me, it was like a lot of Asian, a lot of
Yeah.
South Asian, a lot of Black, Latino. Like we had in my school, it was quite, yeah, there was
Okay.
something of everything. So I was used to that. Yeah, just sort of a mix of culture. And my mom teaches ESL. She's Chinese, but she speaks and knows English probably better than most native English people.
Right. So she's good with language.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And so her students were from around the world. And so sometimes I would visit her at school, or she would bring like their gifts, which was always food. So I was exposed to like multicultural food from very
Right.
Wow.
early. I was
Wow.
like, that was one of the best things about
So your
that.
influences from small already naturally international, and
Yeah,
yeah,
National
exactly.
your
vibes.
aesthetic was like
Totally.
that,
Totally. Yeah.
And
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 yeah.
and wow, that's so interesting. Yeah, that whole, I mean, that whole that kind of exposure is like priceless, right? You know,
It's
like yeah,
so, oh my God, it's the
yeah.
biggest privilege I've ever could ask for. Actually, it's one
Right.
of the things I've come to realize like, wow, that was actually one of the coolest parts of growing up in the
Yeah.
US the way I did. Yeah.
I mean, for an artist, like it's definitely good for you because your mind is
Yeah.
already expanded. You know,
Exactly.
you're not narrow.
No.
Yeah,
You're
world
already
Especially
view.
when you haven't identified yourself as an artist, even, that's when it's like this is about and stuff, and you're getting
Yeah,
all
you're
this.
just used
Yeah.
to embracing like larger,
Totally.
yeah, culture stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this I want to ask you this about like I mean, like your design process, right? Like now, right? How much of AI do you use, or like what do you feel about the whole thing? And like yeah,
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm still new to it. I have to say, I'm always been sort of on the analog side. I mean, I use the computer, of course, but like I'm very much in the print world. Like we're still hands on. I still do stuff by hand and like put it in the computer. I'm definitely not like a 3D artist or in that world of like super high tech graphics. But
right.
AI has been useful for some things, like especially for mock-ups. Like I've used it to just come up with like a quick version of something just to present it like, okay, this is like what idea I'm trying to communicate. Here's like a
Okay.
very rough
Okay.
visual, but it's still not
Oh, you
like the
froze.
final. Oh, are you okay? Can you see me?
All right. Okay.
Yes,
Yes. Now
you're
we
back.
can see. All right.
Sorry. Yeah,
Okay.
no,
Yeah. So AI
for
just to
me,
kind of get your main your
yeah,
fast idea down to present to the
right.
client. They kind of.
Right.
And
I mean,
sometimes, yeah, the image can be manipulated further, right? You get a raw image from AI, and then you can change it in Photoshop or do something else with
right.
it. Yeah,
Well, and I mean, and anyway, like AI is really meant for like it's to help support you in your work, right? So,
yeah,
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 if you feel the analog way is the way that you rather do your art for now, and and then use it just for mock-ups
yeah,
and stuff, it's like perfect
Yeah, that's
for
beautiful,
yeah,
right? Increases your speed and everything. And the
yeah,
reason I'm asking is because, like, I don't know, I'm really new to this, and I'm just asking you this question, like, as a
yeah.
new, like, a zero knowledge
Curious.
about this, like, graphic books, right? Like,
Yeah,
designers you will use this kind of graphic books, right? Like which are like print, like you sample graphics
yes,
and stuff,
yeah,
and like how do you like what is that like? Like so basically you look at a certain the person who has printed the graphic book. Those designs belong to him, right?
yeah, yeah. You
So
shouldn't just take something and then use that as a main image and that then you're done. So if yeah, it depends. If I'm using like, I've used clip art definitely if it fits with
clip
a
art, right?
certain like aesthetic, because it also is aesthetic. Like, is that going to work with this project or this artist or whoever I'm trying to show? So it depends on the aesthetic if that even fits. But if I do use something, it's going to be like the beginning that I do other things with it. So like maybe it'll be the base image, but then I'll add collage it with some other element so it's becomes its own thing. Yeah, no, I mean there's like a
Right.
way. I think there's a great book out there called like How to Steal Like an Artist, like or
How to
something
steal
like
like an
that.
artist? Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
because it's about using source material in many ways. Like it can be from these books, it can be from Google
Wow,
Images, it could
perfect.
be from like the scan of the plant behind me. Like there's many sources of an image, but how you change the image in your unique way in a different style or bring your sort of vision using that. It's not just like, okay, copy that and then you're done. No, you have
Yeah.
to like make a composition with it and adds your own flair, your own elements to like make it unique. So it's
Right.
like a tool and you have to know how to use it properly and
Right.
respectfully, because you never ever want to use like somebody else's artwork. That's a
Yeah.
different thing.
I mean, like, I
Yeah,
find that so interesting, like the graphic stuff, and like for us and him, Carrick, who does
yeah,
our
yeah,
visual stuff, like
right,
he's really into like fonts, like
yeah,
finding good
typography, yep,
fonts and
And
another thing
creating
that
his
I
own
remember as a
forms.
kid also is like the first time I saw
yes,
a deck of playing cards, like that was like
yeah,
whoa, like I don't know, something about the
The
design of
design,
the decking,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and something like I don't know, just it
I mean,
just
it's inspired from tarot, so it definitely has
it's
its
design,
impact. Yeah, yeah,
absolutely,
yeah.
and
yeah
very graphic with the symbols. Yeah,
yeah
playing cards are
so
very
So sorry to jump a little bit, but like on this note, how do you feel your design style has like changed from like being in America and then Berlin and then over here? Like,
Yeah, good
you know?
question.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I haven't really noticed it because I'm like when you're doing the work, I don't really pay
Yeah.
attention to my own style. I don't even know what like I am kind of a designer that I go in many different styles, like depending on the project. So I'm not like
It's
people come.
intuitive, right?
It's very different from someone who's just like you have your one style that everyone wants, or I'm like the kind where I will change my style to fit whatever the client or type of musician or whatever, it's going to change because everyone's different. So, but I tend to, I noticed in Berlin, I was exposed more to like the world of raves and the culture of raves and deeper into like electronic visuals. So, of course, that comes through in typography. I've chosen over the years or changing how I use color or kind of maybe things become more digitized, but I can do it in a way that I like, which is digitized but still like organic looking, like not too clean. I don't like when it's too, but that's my personal like. I'm never going to be like, I'm like kind of the opposite
Right,
of a Swiss designer. If you're into design, you know what that means. Like I'm not the clean, perfect kind of style. I prefer a little messier or a
Okay.
little more imperfect. But
Organic,
so
yeah.
Berlin, yeah, and the Berlin is very industrial, has a lot of broken metal, gritty
Right.
textures. Like that's always been something I pick up on or like to use as well. So that environment definitely I vibe
So,
with.
Eloise, can we see
Yeah.
like some of your work on your Instagram, or like is there somewhere else to
Yeah,
website?
yeah, I'm actually literally in the middle of rebuilding my whole online presence. So your timing is like, if you wait one more month, I will have
Okay.
a whole website up. But
Well,
new,
Eloise,
Well,
it's a date, and I think what we should do, what we should do also is probably like we want to get your opinions about some designs that we've come across,
yeah,
like
totally.
it's like election season here in Mexico, and
Yeah.
we saw this poster yesterday, right?
Oh
I don't want
boy.
to mention which candidate it is, but he decided to go for clean design, like you said, right, of the of the Mexican flag, with the eagle and the snake.
Wow.
So it's
Okay.
like completely, yeah. We'll get your
Yeah.
opinion on that, and see
That's
what we could talk about
wow.
that.
I
You
have
know,
not. Yeah, political design is also wow. That's a
something
tough
else,
one.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's an
Eh,
interesting world. Yeah, no, I
what do you say
definitely.
there?
But do you only do in the music industry, or have you also branched out to like doing for corporate sometimes?
I have here and there, and I have to say it's very much not what I like. Well, just due to, well, not too much actually, very little in that world. I was lucky early in my career to experience more like marketing. I immediately found out how much I didn't like it. So I kind of was like,
Okay.
this is not for me. It's just like a certain type of like, but it's necessary. Like I'm not against it. Like I understand why design is very useful for that. But yeah, I've always wanted to do stuff that's more like expressive, illustrative, complex. Like I can't just do like ads. I will be miserable doing that. So I've
Yeah,
been
yeah,
lucky to like kind of find clients more in line. But at the same time, yeah, that's another topic. Like economically, the money is where the boring stuff is, to be honest.
yeah,
So
yeah.
there's a balance sometimes. Maybe I should look into. I prefer nonprofits, but yeah, more kind of like practical graphics because I'm very much in the world of like extra ultra creative, let's say, like with the stuff. But
Yeah,
there's
but
a
some
place to
of
be
the
less
like the
creative.
good money
Yeah.
one would help, and then you can
Yeah,
concentrate.
yeah, exactly. No, there's the side
Yeah,
of that
totally
I
get it.
have to
Yeah.
think about. Yeah. No, you're totally
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, it's actually really about boring or or passionate.
I know.
Underground or
I know.
commercial, right?
I
Like
know. It's
that whole
crazy.
thing, right?
Yeah.
Like
It's cool.
speaking of Berlin, also I saw this TikTok, right, about how there's this like the world's most exclusive club, and it happens to be in Berlin. Exclusive, not in the sense of like you need a lot of money to get in, but kind of like you need to look right, like you need to be wearing the right thing,
Yeah, it's just
and Can you
Yeah,
tell us about
I
that?
can speak about that. Yeah, it's a strange. It's different. It's. I can see both sides of it. It's kind of difficult for me because like I said, if you I'm coming from that culture already, so I never really had like I don't know. I was lucky where like rave culture or fitting into the underground. Like it wasn't something I ever had to think about because it's like if you are into certain things, you just sort of like become that aesthetic or it's not it shouldn't be forced. So
Yeah.
if somebody is like I don't know cosplaying trying to be underground, like there's some side of that where it's like, well, do you really want this experience or are you just like I don't know, trying to be fake? Like don't be fake. Like if it's not your thing, that's okay, but like people can spot when it's not authentic. So
Yeah.
there's a side of that. I understand and a club wants to preserve like this kind of authentic experience. However, I also don't believe it should be excluding people that just don't know or are new to something, because not all of us, come from the same culture backgrounds. Like someone, some that had never experienced music in a certain way, I would want them to like have access and to like see
Access.
how it is and just. So there's a side of that too where I don't agree that it should just be like judge someone how they look. No, and then exclude them. That's not fair either. So,
Yeah, it was
but
pretty
there,
crazy. That TikToker was waiting in line and like nervous and
yeah,
stuff about what he was wearing, checking his outfit with the other people. And in the end, he didn't get let in. No, like yeah,
yeah,
and he was like he was making this point about like in Berlin, like there are a lot of these places where you kind of like yeah, you got to I don't know for lack
it's
of a
a
better way of saying it, you got to be real. You got to be real to get through the gates.
yeah,
That kind of vibe. I
right.
thought was really
Like
cool. Like yeah.
yeah, there is some. I mean, again, like I come, like it's a strange thing because like there's a certain point too where, okay, again, I'm really integrated with that culture, and so there's a point where you don't really worry about the door as much, but that's a huge privilege that comes with like your connections. But then using my connection to bring someone new or like using my privilege to bring someone who doesn't know this, like I definitely have done that throughout my years in Berlin, but like others I know are aware of that too. So it's like, well, invite the friend that doesn't know this thing but is curious. Like it matters that they're curious, because I wouldn't just want someone to come into this room, which is a safe space, for people. It's not just about having fun. For a lot of
Right.
people, it's like recovering from their traumas, to be honest. So
Yeah. Yeah.
to make sure that if it's someone new entering that they are aware of those issues, are respectful, are open, not going to be like making that it weird for somebody else. If they're trying too hard to fit in
For
or
sure.
look cool, it can kind of like affect somebody else's experience if it's not authentic. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it is tricky. Yeah, I that's a good top. That's like another conversation. That's
That's
like
another.
another 2 hours.
Yeah.
It's a
And like
complex topic.
since we're like reaching the end of the show, right? Like I think we should also discuss like Mexico's
Yeah,
artistic environment,
yeah.
So like yeah, like how do you feel like when you arrived? What was the what hit you first?
So Mexico for me, so many things, but I definitely came here with the knowledge I had from being an immigrant in other countries. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this right. I'm not playing around. Like I took Mexico very seriously from the beginning. So I like
Wow.
got my visa like proper sorted from the beginning. I
Okay.
signed up for Spanish class that I'm gonna spend the rest of my life doing. I've already accepted that, but it's like as
Okay.
soon as within a month of arriving, I was like, okay, let's go. So I had kind of a different mindset than what like my Berlin was a little less. It was still like planned, but a little less like intense about it. And here I feel more like, no, me and Mexico are going to be like, I have a lot of respect already for the country, but I'm doing it in a way that's like, I want to feel like I'm doing things in the most, I'm not taking something as much as I can prevent from being here. Like I don't want to be a colonizer. Like I'm from the U.S., so there's a lot of issues
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
about
Okay.
as an American already coming here, and to like make sure I'm doing my best to integrate, but also like there's so much here. Like I'm also a human, so I'm like not perfect. Like,
Yeah,
being
totally.
and
respectful.
making
Yeah.
mistakes, and trying to, it's going to take years, but I'm kind of prepared already. Mentally, I was prepared for that
Right.
before coming
I
here.
mean, so before coming here, you're already aware of like how the gringos might be
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
perceived. Okay,
Oh
okay.
yeah.
So
Definitely.
that's why you came here like all like okay, I'm going to do this right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm also critical of gringos and gringas. So it's like, it's a little different. I feel a little more like, responsibility and connection just to in this part of the world because it's closer to where I'm from. It's closer to the US too. So, and there's a lot of that I like too. The energy of being back in the Americas is like, I missed it. I missed a lot of things I didn't
Yeah.
realize that I was missing in Europe. And but still different and new. Like it's closer to visit like my friends and family in the US, which is a big reason I also decided to come back here in this part of the world. But it's also, there's so much like vastness, like we discussed. Like Mexico itself is so complex, and like for me it's just like I'm in the sponge period still, like soaking up
Yeah, yeah.
all this different new energies, tastes, flavors, people, language. I think maybe like it's going to take 4 or 5 years for me. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's
Right,
like
right.
To
about how
acclimatize.
long it takes to really feel like, okay, I kind of like feel like I'm a part of this country culture a little more than I was, like in the beginning. But it takes
Right.
time. I've accepted that. Like
So,
nothing's
but
fast.
what drew
Yeah.
you to Mexico? I know that like you wanted to be closer to the U.S.
Yeah.
but I mean there's something more as well, right? That
Yeah.
you want to experience here in Mexico. So what was that?
I think so. On my first trip ever in Mexico was Mexico City, like 5 years before I moved, and it was a huge impact of just, as a designer. Like I already was interested in what was happening in this part of the world. Like just it's very okay. The colors, like the use of color, just in environments, I love it. And I'm coming from Berlin, which is very gray and dark, which
Oh yeah,
I have a side that I really like that too. But I was being kind of
Seattle.
like, yeah,
Seattle
yeah,
is
like
kind of gray and dark.
goth. I'm a goth. I'm a goth. So that's
Right.
like, I've always been familiar and into that. But then Mexico is like kind of breaking through that for me and sort of showing a side of myself too. Like I love color too. I'm not actually like, I have both sides within me.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
Mexico really spoke to this other part of me that I wasn't getting much of for a long time. Kind of light and color and contrast and pattern,
Yes,
like
yes.
crazy bold patterns and amazing crafts. I love handcrafts. So just seeing all the crafts on the streets. I haven't even been to Oaxaca yet, but I'm saving that because I know my mind's going to explode. So I'm just
Yes.
like, this kind of like that, being surrounded by that, is, I wanted it. I think I need it. Like I just didn't have as much of that in, Europe, to be honest.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
It's so cool what you're describing because this is exactly the like
yeah,
creative landscape. It's like exactly that. It was like gray in
yeah,
Berlin, right? In
yeah,
Seattle is gray too. And
yeah.
then here is like a burst of
Like
color and it's
Color
energy.
all over the place.
Yeah,
Yes.
energy and the stuff you're saying kind of we
yeah,
really vibe with it also like there's this
yeah.
thing about Mexico, like you feel it with the people, so it's a kind of like I'm here kind of spirit,
Totally.
like I'm
And
here, I'm just here,
exactly, yeah. And it
yeah.
affects the people. Like the people are different here. For me, coming again from Germany, it's opposite. Like I
Oh wow,
just
okay.
can't. I am just like, in May. I mean, I'm still maybe in the honeymoon phase of this country, and I know there's I'm gonna meet assholes for sure at some point. But like in general, Mexican people and the people that are here to me, and I think it for sure is because of the environment and many other influences, are just kinder, more polite. Just general baseline humanity for me is so, much stronger and better here to me. I'm like, I love that. I've
Yeah.
been, I feel like I'm learning a lot by just being around kinder people again. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
like people who are very connected, no, like they
yeah,
are very present, and I think having this experience personally, like just experiencing Mexico and what people are like, is so healing, and like
yeah,
I think it really adds
exactly.
value to my life, and
Yeah,
I'll be able to go back to my country and add that to to my
Yes,
country.
no, it's making me kind of healing my traumas that I've dealt with in Germany a little bit of
Yeah,
kind of
wow,
like,
yeah.
well, not everybody is this dark. It's like, no, it doesn't need to, we can treat each other better. It doesn't have to make everyday life miserable. Like, yeah,
We
there's
can say
another.
good afternoon. We can say
Right,
hello.
yeah.
It's fine.
It's
It's not a
like,
big deal, right?
right. And
I think in the US you
nice.
also do that, right? You also greet each other. You also say like good afternoon and all that. But it's like it's a little bit different. It's a little bit
Yeah.
more like up in like more mental,
Yeah.
less like heartfelt.
Exactly.
yeah,
in a way,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. More clinical. Yeah.
Authentic, right. I feel like people say it because they're happy, like they just want to
Yeah.
like have a nice day
Yes,
together.
they're happy.
It's not just like forced politeness
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
also something. I mean, just to add, like coming from the Asian culture, like we are
Yeah.
part of Singapore and everything. It's just more the norm to kind of just mind your own business, right?
Yeah.
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 Here is
Yeah.
like random people can come and like talk to you about
Absolutely.
something.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
exactly, I love it. And it's
This is
motivating
beautiful.
with the language too. Like I'm still new. And so like I want to be able to communicate with a random abuelita that's like buenas tardes. And like, so, there's like that motivation to just connect more as the foreigner too. I feel that here much more than I have in other places.
And I'm sure you also get a lot of people actually coming up to you and talking, right? Like saying, "Hey, where you from?" and what are you
People
doing
think
here?
I'm Mexican. It's kind
People
of
think you're
like,
Mexican?
they think I'm Mexican. Yeah, they're like,
Oh,
aren't
your
you?
thing froze. Oh,
Oh,
really?
sorry. Yeah.
So people. Oh, okay. So people think you're Mexican, and what happens? Like, how's your Spanish?
I know that's another reason I'm like, oh my God, I need to get more convincing because I already fit in, I blend in some
Look-wise.
way. And then
Okay.
I'm slower to speak it
Yeah,
proper,
you know
but
what? Now I look at you, yeah, like maybe you do look like you
Yeah,
could,
you
you
could-
could
blend.
be,
Yeah.
you could, yeah. Isaac also looks like he could
Yeah.
be Mexican.
yeah, which
Yeah.
is fascinating.
So,
Yeah.
like Eloise, we have less than, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
it's like-
Eloise, we have less than 5 minutes left. So let's talk a bit about your self-publishing projects,
Oh, okay. Let's go.
designs, and all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, 'cause that's like the last, yeah. We definitely want to share a bit about that.
Yeah, just tell us
Thank you.
what are you
Okay.
working on, or what plans do you have in
Yeah.
the future? Like for your stuff.
So, like I said, I'm a little in flux, like rebuilding my whole online world right now. But my side projects are quite a big part. Yeah, that's my alter ego, sort of where I can express my own interests and projects. And there's also a fundraising element that it's called New Age Rage, and that's a whole other concept that comes from music actually, and having a radio show in Berlin. So this radio show eventually developed into my own zine publishing, self-publishing projects, and I try to use donate a percentage to different causes that they're related to. So it's a little bit like my art activism. Like I've always been interested in bringing those two together. I am quite political. We haven't talked about that. Like I have
Okay.
opinions of things in the world, and I feel art is a huge place to like help with a lot of causes. And it's like they're small projects, but for me they're deeply from my soul. Like these are like projects that represent my experiences, who I am, but also how it can help others. Like I want to use those things to like connect and help others. So
Yo, that is so beautiful.
there's a
And,
lot, that
yeah.
integrated.
We got to get you on to
Process.
do another episode, and also
Yeah, the
I
time
really
is
want to get you
too
on
short.
and do that thing we were talking
Yeah,
about.
no,
get
we
your
should talk
opinions.
and just
And-
Yeah, that'd be
yeah.
fun. Yeah, like
Yeah.
we put up the thing, and then you give your reviews.
Yeah. Yeah. And yo, so
Yeah,
that
totally.
foreign show salutes you, and
Oh, thank
for
you.
just being you, being an artist.
Yeah,
and,
you too.
And
Thanks
and
for
contributing to the
building
world.
the connections and the network. That's all part of it too.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
you're
Right.
doing. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Eloise, for joining
Yeah.
us here.
Yes,
We
thank you.
really enjoyed talking to you. It was
course.
definitely too short.
short,
like
sure.
I still have more questions, but
Yeah.
like we're at the end of the show. So my name is Celestine Angel.
I'm Isaac Rakesh.
We have Eloise Leigh with us, and we are on AR Networks signing out.
Activating your senses. Signing
Thank
out.
you. Gracias.
Thank you to all who joined us here on That Foreign Show. It's been